What do you make of Henry Cejudo? Do you think he should get that opportunity if he wants to get back in the USADA pool and compete again? Or do you think he's got to earn that and wait his line?
That guy's earned his stripes. I mean, look, the things that he's accomplished in combat sports are pretty incredible. He'd be going against Volkanovski, who's a little bit bigger, not quite up to par in wrestling, but a wrestler in his own right. Both great strikers. I don't think he needs to skip the line. I think Henry is underestimating the fact that when you're not competing, people aren't thinking about you as much. You can try to say this and say that. I don't think he should have ever retired. He's at his top earning potential. I think he should have kept building that reputation, getting his name out there. You know, I had 46 fights from when I was 24 years old on. So that's why people know my name. And it's not just because I was a champion. I was a champion and a contender. It's because I was out there over and over and over again. Guys like Cowboy Cerrone are like that. Guys like Mike Chandler are like that. So I'd like to see Henry get back in regardless and start fighting. That's how you make money. That's how you make your name. And that's how you really get remembered. Sure, he's one of the greatest in combat sports because of what he's done, but who's going to care?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Triple C and Schmo show. I'm the Schmo. My co-host wears a crown. He has an Olympic gold medal. He's a 2-division champion in the UFC. He's Henry Cejudo.
Let's go, Schmo, because time is money and money is time.
And we just watched that video. Urijah Faber, your favorite 50-year-old retired skateboarder, man, the Hall of Famer. Wise words he says about you.
Yeah, he's semi-right, but at the same time, I don't think Urijah Faber understands the satisfaction when you are the greatest combat athlete of all time. Not one of the greatest combat athletes of all time. The greatest combat athlete of all time. Like I said, man, there is the only things that are motivating me. I want that third belt. I want either Max Holloway or I really want Alexander the Average. And I know they're going to fight for that belt. So that being said is I want the winner of that fight. Schmo, getting ready to be a dad. I want to kick it, milk it. And if Dana Bald wants to come out and give me that fight, we'll make it happen. I'm making all of these guys bend the knee to Triple C.
Well, the Schmo likes Urijah Faber. He brought up some good points. So the Schmo obviously likes you. We do a show with you. And let's get into that activity.
But you know what? I tell you what, Schmo. Why don't I fight him? Why don't I come back and fight him and really retire and really put my foot in that butt chin of his that he has? How about some of that?
That's a good-looking chin, by the way. All right. Let's get into this
It's begging to be kicked, Schmo.
All right. Let's get into this.
I want to get all up in there, Schmo.
Hey, the Schmo wants to get all up in there in your business for this week's gold medal moment. You're training with Jon Jones, who's looking to make his heavyweight debut. How the heck did this happen, man? How did you get Jon Jones to train with you at Fight Ready? We got to start with that.
Well, let me tell you what, man. There is no greater combination than have the greatest combat athlete of all time and the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. Actually, once that whole thing happened with Jones, he reached out to me. It's a mutual respect. He hit me up on Instagram. We started talking a little bit. He's looking, he wanted to get my perspective in this. So he came out to Arizona for the last 3 days, and we worked everything. What you call MMA, from striking to ground control, and more of the emphasis on wrestling, because I think Johnny Jones Bones knows what Triple C and the team did with Way League out here at Fight Ready, and he wants some of that juice. Schmo, can you believe it?
So let's recap. He slid into the Triple C's DMs, hit you up, said he's coming out to Arizona. He was there for 3 days. Who did he bring with him? And what did he say to you to get Triple C to be like, aha, let's connect us. Let's go. Triple C, Jon Jones in the gym. Let's train. Tell us more.
Well, it was more he respects my accolades. You may hate the cringe, you may hate the persona, but he understands that I am a winner. Him as a former wrestler, him as a former light heavyweight champ, him as the greatest mixed martial artist of all time, dead or alive. He recognizes what I've done and the fact that I'm extremely genuine, and I will hold Jon Jones I will hold him accountable to a lot of things. And to me, he has all the tools, all the resources. What I would be doing, Schmo, is I would be polishing up that Ferrari Lambo that he is. So again, man, I believe him reaching out and him being humble, which I had a chance to get to know him. I mean, literally, man, we had him here at the house. My mom cooked for him. I had no idea he could eat spicy food like, the stuff that my mom's, he probably felt it later on that night. A little Dumb and Dumber. Oh! Anyhow. He enjoyed it.
That's a great
he loved
scene.
It.
Very underrated scene when he takes a bite of that chili pepper on the burger. You give him the rat pills. He dies on the spot. Great line.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but you know what I'm saying? My family loved him. We're out here. We scouted video. I'm teaching them positions, man. We're on the same page. I believe me and Jon Jones would be the greatest combination of athlete coach that the mixed martial arts world has ever seen.
So you will be reuniting with him. How did this leave off? Will he be coming back? Will you be going to Albuquerque? Is he moving to Phoenix? Give us more details, Triple C. That's what the show's here for.
Yeah, that's I told Jon, I says, I'm getting ready to have my kid, and obviously, that's my priority now. But John's going to be coming out to Phoenix, a few days at a time per week, and we're going to just be training these different situations. You have to understand, Jon Jones is a whole nother animal. He's a whole nother creature. He's able to come out 2 to 3 days and really pick up and then go back home, because obviously he has a family of his own in Albuquerque. Once my baby is due, I'll be able to make that transition. My baby won't be able to travel for the next 6 months, which is perfect timing for whenever it is that he's either going to fight Cyril Gain or Francis Ngannou. But I told Johnny Jones Bones, familia is everything. So if I do end up going down there, I'm taking the whole family, and we're taking shop down to Albuquerque, or vice versa. He can come out here to fight ready, and we can win that second bout and make them all bend the knee.
So for the record, the Mr. Jon Bones Jones confirm with you that he will be fighting the winner of Francis Ngannou Cyril Gane, and still wants to come back and make his return in the spring of 2022 to face that winner.
Yeah, I told Jon, though, he's thinking spring. I'm like, these guys want to enjoy their championship, Jon. It says they're not going to come back in the spring. These guys are going to fight, January 22nd. These guys ain't fighting until the summer because they want to enjoy their championship.
International Fight Week, July?
I think so. And I told him, I says, listen, the UFC may tell you certain things, but in reality, these guys want to enjoy these titles before Johnny Jones Bones takes it, whoever the winner is. I've always been a big fan. What makes Jon Jones so special, Schmo, is the fact that he's a greater competitor than he is a fighter. He finds a way to win. All those fights that you guys think that Jon Jones barely won, you guys are crazy. He's just a winner. He's able to slide through. But now with Triple C to the team, woo, let me tell you, it's a whole nother set of dynamites.
So let's bring this segment home. Will you be in Jon Bones Jones' corner, octagon side, when he goes to fight for the world heavyweight strap?
Stay tuned and watch. We're going to get some work in, but stay tuned and watch.
All right. Well, the Schmo will be pressing you on this as time progresses. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the silver medal segment, this could be the very last Triple C and Schmo show we do with Mr. Henry Cejudo not being a live father. Let's appreciate that in the Schmoment, huh?
Let's go. Come on, Schmo. Come on, Schmo.
Moving on then to the silver medal moment. Every single week, you got people saying, oh, this is the greatest fight of the year. This is one of the greatest fights of all time. It's a blessing. That's what happens when you have quality fights every single week. Thanks for delivering, Dana White. We got Yair Rodriguez, Max Holloway. This was an excellent fight, and the Schmo and Triple C both felt the winner of this, fighting for the featherweight strap, unless Triple C makes that return. Obviously, you thought Yair, who was a big underdog, was going to get the job done, but Max Holloway prevails. What'd you make of the fight? Let's get your initial reactions.
Man, the fight was excellent for Yair. He started extremely smart, kicking out that front leg. I think he needs to develop that kicking the front leg to the opposite side, because Max Holloway was hurt. Once it's happened to me, it's happened to every fighter. Once your legs are compensated, you don't have that much power on your hands. So it was a great game plan, but he should have continued from round one what he did in round one to all the way to round 5 and stay disciplined. The problem is he started boxing with him. And the other thing that I would say with Yair is he started playing the rope-a-dope. He started rolling to his back and things like that. That doesn't look good for the judges, because it could have been 2-2 going into the 5th, And some judges saw it that way if you saw some of the scorecards. So Yair did an excellent job, but I felt like he should have started kicking that left leg. Or when he switched to southpaw, Max Holloway started kicking his body and respecting. But you don't want a boxer. He should have matched the distance game. But for that reason, Max Holloway is just a tough son of a gun. But I truly do believe I love that fight, Schmo. I know he's a giant. I know he's big. I know he's got a lot of, he's got the most punch count and striking count in UFC history. But that's the same reason why I love it, because I don't need to hit you 2,000 times per fight. I just need one hit. That's it. I'm a one-hitter quitter, Schmo. But it was an excellent fight. I loved it. I think these guys are really putting the featherweight division on the map, and I'm excited to see Alexander the Average and Max Holloway 3.
Yes, the Schmo is also. By the way, so when he went and he attacked those legs, the Schmo loves the adjustments Max Holloway did. A career-high 3 takedowns he had in this fight. And let me say this to you. He is the all-time leader in featherweight division history. Now, with significant strikes, obviously with finishes, with wins, and fight bonuses, post-fight winning bonuses. That's Max Blessed Holloway. He puts on a show every single time he's out there. He's the first one to the 3,000 club. The 3,000 clubs for total strikes in the UFC, man. He's got the record. That's like in baseball. You know, when you get 3,000 hits, that was an elite category. Like when the Derek Jeters, the Pete Roses of the world, they got there. Well, Max is the first one to do it, and he's in a league of his own. The Schmo talks every single week about these Hall of Famers. Well, obviously, Max Holloway's the Hall of Famer, and obviously to the Schmo, he's the greatest featherweight of all time, and obviously we want to see the Volkanovski fight next. And you brought it up too in what you were just saying. You're interested in fighting Max Holloway, but are you more interested in fighting Max Holloway than you would be for an Alexander Volkanovski?
Oh man, I would love to see Max Holloway beat Alexander the Average, just for the simple sake that I want to fight Schmo that nobody believes that I could win, that nobody else that I believe that just a height difference. Just it really would be a David versus Goliath, and I like something that scares me. I'm not, you know what I'm saying, Schmo? So I would like to see Max Holloway retain his belt back, and then we'll do a Triple C versus Max Holloway, because we all know that Alexander the Average is shaking in his tiny little boots, and he don't want a piece of Triple C. But I know Max would love to kill the cringe. And I believe that fight would be fire.
And Max Holloway's the guy who would fight anybody the UFC puts in front of him. And here's what I respect about you, that is Triple C, man. Because let's just make it clear for the public here. You're not sitting here and chasing names. You're sitting here and chasing history. You don't care who's holding that belt. You just want that belt being the featherweight champion. So whether it's Max Holloway who's holding that belt, or whether it's Alexander the Great Volkanovski holding that belt, you just want to face the man holding that belt to get the opportunity to be C4. So it's not you just chasing these names. You're chasing gold. You're chasing history. So let that be clear to the audience that you just want C4. Doesn't matter the name behind
I am the biggest gold digger, Schmo, that this world will ever know.
All right, here we go. Now let's go into the bronze medal moment. The Schmo likes this one in particular because there's beef. And when there's beef, we're talking about Angus. We're talking about 100% US of A Angus beef right here. We got Justin Gaethje beefing with Islam and Khabib. And Khabib beefing with Gaethje. I mean, about all this stuff. It's about this lightweight title picture. Who's most deserving? Is it Islam? Is it Gaethje? Or is it someone that the Schmo likes to call Beneil Dariush, 7-fight win streak? So let me ask you this question. Who's the most deserving man of all these, or is it somebody else, to be fighting the winner of Poirier and Oliveira at UFC after UFC 269?
Oh man, that one's so hard, Schmo. One, because they're both my friends, but they both are deserving. I can see both sides. I can see why Khabib is backing up his boy, because Gaethje did a couple fights ago just fight Khabib and lost. He did fight for an interim bout, and obviously he did one. So he's already had 2 shots at the title. But I can also understand the highlight, man, the competition that he's fought, and the fights and the brawls that he's in, and how he's able to perform. I personally think you want to give Islam probably Beneil Dariush, and I'm just gonna have to go with Justin Gaethje, just for the simple fact that he goes through wars, man, and he delivers. He's fought the higher ranked opponent than Islam. Yeah, he beat Dan Hooker, but Dan Hooker also got knocked out by Michael Chandler. So for that reason, I'm going to have to go with none other than the highlight, Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, the seeding in this division is fajocked. Yeah, you like that word, fajocked. It's fajocked because when Michael Chandler...
What does that mean anyways? What is that? What is that, Schmo?
It's all messed up. It's a mess. Fajocked. It's a clutter. It's a clutter. So when Michael Chandler signed from Bellator to the UFC, he had one fight in Dan Hooker. He beats Dan Hooker. He starches him in the first round in Abu Dhabi. He gets a title shot for the vacant belt against Oliveira. So you can make the argument, how many fights did he have in the UFC to get the opportunity? If it jocked it all, it actually makes an argument for Islam getting the title shot a lot better in this situation. Now,
like I said, Schmo, I wouldn't be mad with either one. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Schmo.
Well, yeah, the Schmo's going to agree with that. I mean, it's hard. The argument is difficult here, so the Schmo wants to just set the facts straight behind the scenes. All three of these men are represented by the same man who represents you, Ali Abdelaziz with Dominance MMA, a man who represents some of the best talent in this organization and all the organizations of mixed martial arts. It's a sticky situation. You only want your guys, your brothers, because there's loyalty here, to fight the guys. Obviously, there's gold on the line, but in this situation, there's three of them, and two of these guys seem to have to fight each other as a number one contender fight to fight next for the title. You can make an argument for X, Y, and Z. I just wanted to let it be known that these three men, Beneil Dariush, Gaethje, and Islam Makhachev, these are the three guys most deserving in this division to fight the winner here. So obviously, two of them got to fight each other. The Schmo can say, hey, roll some dice, flip a coin, whoever it is. You can make whatever argument you want, but let it be clear that all three of these men have a great case, and I have to side with you that I believe Justin the Human Highlight Gaethje should be fighting the winner here. He's most deserving, and heck, let's just say it is Dustin Poirier that wins, because everyone seems to say Dustin Poirier's going to win. A Dustin Poirier Gaethje 2, that's big bucks. That's a big time fight. The Schmo would love to see it, and obviously we wouldn't care if we could see Oliveira and we'd see Gaethje as well. Fireworks either way. But Islam, Dariush, the Schmo thinks that should be a number one contender fight. We agree with that.
Ah, man, Schmo, you should be a promoter, man. Dana White, move out the way, man. You're absolutely 100% right. Everything that you said, Schmo, is on the money.
Well, hopefully we'll disagree, man, because here's where we really make the money, man. Your favorite segment, pillow fights. We get the hypothetical fights. We put them into gear. Dana White watches this. He says, oh, Schmo, Triple C, we agree with you. Mick, Sean Shelby, let's get this going. That's how it happens. So let's just go rapid fire. What's next for Max Bless Holloway? Pillow fights.
Yeah, Max Bless. I mean, he has an opportunity. Conor McGregor, I don't know if he's trolling like in reality, but I think that would be a good fight. But really, he needs to chase legacy. He needs to get his belt back. I think he needs to fight Alexander Volkanovski.
Yes, it's McGregor or Volkanovski, but we're talking about legacy. We put gold on the line. We're talking to a man wearing a crown. It's got to be Volkanovski 3.
But this is what you do too, Schmo. So what could happen is if Max Holloway was to win that belt, 145 pounds, you entice Conor McGregor to come back, and they can do it again at 145 pounds. With that timing being done. And who knows, Triple C can slide in and the winner of that too. What do you think, Schmo?
But here's the thing with McGregor. Until we see him training again, full capacity, and get in there and get inside the octagon, because remember, he snapped his leg. I mean, this wasn't an easy injury to overcome here. This is a significant ordeal. You got to overcome. You got to get back in there, get the confidence back, and do something with it. So we'll see on that. What about Yair Rodriguez?
Oh man, Yair Rodriguez, because of his performance, I would catch anybody in the top 5. I think the next fight for him, in order for him to get a title shot for the if Max does lose, I think it could be the next title shot to fight Alexander Volkanovski. I would either go Brian Ortega or I would go Giga, and both of those fights, the featherweight division is on fire. But I think Yair is about a couple fights away from fighting for that title once again.
And that foot really was like a balloon. We saw those pictures. Let's show those pictures.
My foot was like a balloon. My foot was a balloon.
That was totally a balloon, that foot. Listen, if you're Zabit Magomedsharipov, who's obviously out of the picture, the Schmo asked Dana White about this at the post-fight press conference. We don't know what's going on. He's been tied to on and off fights with Yair Rodriguez. You see that Yair Rodriguez, he's willing and came back to dance after a 2-year layoff. It's been a 2-year layoff for Zabit Magomedsharipov. Let's see Zabit come back. Let's see the Zabit Yair Rodriguez fight. That's what the Schmo wants to see. Let's see that fight. And if we can't get that, then you put Giga. Then you put Ortega. But how about Giga and Ortega? That's a great match in itself.
Man, Giga's dangerous, but so is Ortega because Ortega's well-rounded. Ortega has probably the slickest, sneakiest chokes and probably in MMA as of right now. He is so sneaky with it. I think that'll be an excellent fight, Schmo.
Leon Edwards, what's next? Obviously, Masvidal's out.
Yeah, I feel bad. I think Leon Edwards needs a title shot. I really do, man. Look at, you know what I'm saying? He's been sidelined. George is not healthy to fight him. I don't think Masvidal really wanted to fight Edwards, but I say you give the next title shot with Kamaru Usman. Allow Kamaru Usman to lap just another person once again. But I do feel that Leon Edwards has gone better, man. His striking is legit. His wrestling defense, he's been there before. And he's had, it was a decision fight with Kamaru Usman. But then again, that was close to 4 or 5 years ago. He is a different fighter. Kamaru's a different fighter. Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards. I love that matchup.
I think Jorge Masvidal being pulled out, this totally sets up what we talked about before. Covington, the Ultimate Fighter, against Jorge Masvidal, former training partners. I think it's women's flyweight and heavyweight, men's heavyweight. That's going to be the Ultimate Fighter cast. Maybe they're not the right coaches for that. Maybe they are. It would definitely add to some drama, I'll tell you that much. But that's what it sets up for. Regarding the title shot, I can't disagree with that, but I'll say one monkey wrench we could put in there is if he wants to avenge the loss of his brother, throw in Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz against Leon Edwards. We saw what Nate did in that 5th round and wobbled him. We saw those chicken legs at the end. Let's see him avenge the loss. We can allow that. How about...
I like it, Schmo. I like it. I believe Nick Diaz would be a great, and it's all about storyline, Schmo. If he's able to get in there with the guy that beat his brother and be able to beat him, who knows, man? Nick could even, slide in there and get the next title shot because that means he would fight and beat one of the top contenders, and he has a name. I changed my mind. Leon Edwards versus Nick Diaz will be money.
Not sure where Khamzat Chimaev fits in this equation. We'll save it for a future episode. Maybe the next one. We'll see how it goes. And how about this? Over the weekend, she headlined Bellator. She was dominant again. Chris Cyborg, next in line for this woman.
Yeah, Chris Cyborg, the only fight that really matters right now, and it's for her legacy. I mean, they got to give her higher competition, and it's the one and only Kayla Harrison. As much as people are hyping Kayla Harrison, Kayla hasn't fought the top competition that Chris Cyborg has. As you can tell, she's working with, a Mr. McKee, and I know he's polishing up that wrestling. So it's not even a judo thing, it's a wrestling thing. If you don't allow Kayla Harrison to get close to you, she won't take you down. I do believe that Chris Cyborg's striking is a lot more dangerous than Kayla's. That's going to be an interesting matchup, but I'm leaning more. I'm not hating on Kayla, but just for the simple fact that the more well-rounded fighter right now, as of right now, it is Chris Cyborg. But I believe those two girls have to get it on.
This is about to be a segment within a segment. We'll call this a Schmo rant. We're going to go on a Schmo rant. It's been years now since we've actually had rankings in a UFC featherweight division. There's no rankings. There's not enough competition. Not enough quality women. The Schmo was at the Apex over the weekend. We saw Felicia Spencer. She dominated, obviously, in her matchup. And quite frankly, there's just no one there for Amanda Nunes. Dana White consistently saying we're going to keep this division alive in the UFC as long as Amanda Nunes wants to compete. There's no competition really out there for her. It's proven it time in and time in at 145 pounds in the UFC for females. So let's get back to what you just said for Chris Cyborg, Kayla Harrison. Nunes is training partners with Kayla Harrison. That's not going to happen anytime soon. They're both an American top team. Chris Cyborg, Kayla Harrison is 100% the fight to make for women's MMA. We need to see it on the line. We need to see that striking of Chris Cyborg versus that dominant judo of Kayla Harrison. Let the worlds collide. The ages match up now. The time is now. Money's time. Time is money. Let's make it happen. Pillow
Oh my
fights.
god. Oh
Schmo
my
rant
god.
out.
Oh my god, I love it, Schmo. You are 100 and absolutely right. That would change the game, and you can do it at the 145-pound division. There's one at PFL. There's the best at the UFC, and there is the former GOAT in Bellator, and all these three girls, man. You could oof. There's so many great matchups. It's crazy, and you could probably even do a tournament format. Maybe throw in Holly Holmes up in that mix. You'd have a former boxing world champion, a two-time Olympic gold medalist, the girl that's considered the GOAT in Amanda Nunes, and the former GOAT, Chris Cyborg. I love that tournament, Schmo. You just gave me the chills.
All right, Henry, it's that time of the week where we move on to the King's speech. We saw you active on social media about the stoppages over the weekend at the UFC Vegas 42 fight. Talk about it.
This is what I'm going to say, because I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, because people think it was an early stoppage with TJ. People think it was an early stoppage with Dominic Cruz. But this is the thing. I'm saying when somebody gets dropped, and yeah, they do kind of wobble a little bit, it doesn't mean you stop it. This is why I feel if the opponent's able to get some solid hits off the ground, that is when you stop, because you got to give these guys the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to go back and even talk about the Frankie Edgar fight. Yeah, he got front kicked, but Frankie Edgar has been in these wars. I give him the benefit of the doubt. The dude was running round 1 and 2. And that leg kick that Cheeto happened to land on Frankie Edgar, it was almost like, dude, this guy has been there. This is why both of these guys from Saturday, who was it in that fight that I'm forgetting the person that I thought it was like the early stops. But what I'm saying is the referee's job is to really see that the fighter is out. What I'm saying is the refs got to get checked, dude, because let these guys get beat up a little bit on top. Just a little bit, man. If they can't defend themselves, because you do get razzled and you do end up looking sloppy as you go back. The difference was when I hit Dominic, there were 13 unanswered shots. When I hit TJ, he kept going limp, but at least I was in a position where I was on top of him and hitting him, and these guys were dropping like flies. What I'm saying is referees, stop calling the fights off when somebody just gets his and they drop. This isn't boxing, man. You know what I'm saying? Or we could treat it kind of like boxing. Give him a 10 count on bottom a little bit. Allow him to have the ability to defend himself. Because if not, Schmo, once somebody gets dropped, it's like, oh, the fight's over. It's like, yeah, you're going to get rattled. Your head is going to hit the canvas. But it doesn't mean you're out. Unless you're out cold with a stiff body, then that's different, Schmo.
Yeah, the Schmo's just going to go specifically here on decisiveness. There's nothing worse than being indecisive. Thinking you're going to call off a fight, then bring it back on, then calling it off again. And that's where the Schmo had issue this week.
Same thing with Herb Dean. Herb Dean is touching the dude. He's almost like...
You cannot touch a fighter and the fight's still being on. If you touch a fighter, it's 100% over. That's the only way you can do it. You can't touch him, then go, oh, okay, and then touch him. You can't do it. Ultimately, the Schmo agrees. You end that fight. It should have been ended there, but you cannot touch him prematurely. Be decisive.
Exactly. And things like that confuses people. You know what I'm saying? And there should be some consequence. People should be suspended for things like that. Okay, you can no longer do main events for X amount of long because this is what happened. You know what I'm saying? There's some protocol. There's a lot of great refs, but Herb Dean kind of dropped. Herb Dean really dropped the ball on that one. And I've seen it before. I don't recall, but he does kind of have a hesitation whenever he does want to stop it, or it kind of keeps the fight going. So those are things. I think Mark Goddard's one of the best in the game. I believe Mike Beltran, who's a friend of mine, is extremely good. And these are the other guys that really do deserve the praise and the hype, because it's not just about you having a certain time in the UFC, but can you do the job right?
Add Jason Herzog to that list as well. But all these guys, including the gold standard, this show's about gold. Herb Dean is fantastic. Just think about this. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has a bad day at the office. This guy's refereed so many hundreds upon hundreds of fights, and hundreds of pounds of fight every single year. Look at what his odds are for doing the right thing here. At the end of the day, sure, it wasn't his best moment, but the guy is consistently great over the time. We will give him the benefit of the doubt, but we agree it was a mistake there. Now, let's end this show on the Cringe Corner. Bum, ba-da, bum, ba-da, bum, ba-da, bum, ba-da, bum. Did you see AEW wrestling?
Oh my God, man, Schmo! I almost feel like I want the. You know what, Jon Jones and some of these people at American Top Team, they need to come up with Triple C too, because I will show them the real Triple C, the real Kurt Angle. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. I love the fact that, you know, you had the UFC fighters Bellator, and if Dana White doesn't emerge, that seems like AEW is doing it. You know, we saw Dan Labra with his jumpsuit looking like a pimp. I mean, it was, you know what I mean? They need a little help in their acting skills, Schmo, but I thought it was cool that you have two organizations to come together in the most, you know, great way, not, you know, through pro wrestling at AEW.
Didn't you do AEW with the legend, Uncle Mike Tyson?
Of course, man. You saw how that went. That was one of the biggest episodes in AEW history, because everything that Triple C touches turns into gold.
If you're a fan of this show and you support Triple C and the Schmo, I think you very much come to the same consensus as what the Schmo's about to say. You bring Triple C, you bring the Schmo on the mic, that's real fireworks. Come on, man. I can wear these fucking glasses for a reason. I just said the F word. We could do that better, man. The cringe, the Schmo, we have better mic skills. We could do wrestling school. And by the way, people, the Schmo might be doing some real live wrestling school in the not-so-distant future. And if that happens, if we bring the Schmo and Triple C into AEW, we'll show you what real mic skills and real wrestling's all about. I say we do a little competition with the American Top Team. That's a challenge. We just made it.
I like it, man. Triple C and the Schmo versus American Top Team. What's up, ATT? Let's make it happen, man.
What's your name?
I am Triple C. But wait! Last thing, Schmo. Did you see what Daniel Cormier had to say about me training with Jon Jones?
Oh, he brings it up. He brings in the fire. The Schmo saw it, man. He doesn't like you. Speaking of F-bombs, he dropped one towards you in the IG story. We saw that.
Yeah, man. Daniel, man, you know I love you, my man. You're retired just like me. There's something to be said whenever it is that you're training. Like I as a legend, man, I am a legend. But as a legend, we got to take care of the legends. Whether you guys had beef or not, I believe it's not just a mixed martial arts thing with Jon Jones, man. We are sit there and you know what I mean? We're talking about life, man, because I believe a happy Jon Jones is a successful Jon Jones. And I think we all would. You know, we got to take care of each other. We got to take care of our brothers. And I just believe that any legend that comes to mind, whether it's wrestling, whether it's boxing, because I feel it too with Oscar De La Hoya and wrestling. There's a lot of people that, you know, that I like to keep in touch with. And the same thing for them, because it's a certain group, it's a certain fraternity, Schmo, that it's like the World Championship Olympic Club that we always got to watch out for each other. So that's all it is, Daniel Cormier. But if you don't like it, DC, you can do me a favor and you can bend the knee to King Triple C.
Hey, DC, the Schmo still loves you. Real quick, by the way, how much do you think Jon Jones weighed when you saw him? I forgot to ask you. How much did he weigh, do you think?
Enough to break the ice.
More than 260, yes or no?
He's up there. He's huge, Schmo.
All
He
right.
is huge, man. There is no way he's ever going to make light heavyweight ever again. When my mom cooked for him, Jesus, man. He was asking for seconds and thirds.
He's Triple C, I am the Schmo, and we are...